Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to Hare Krishna Africa platform. Today's the 5th of February 2026. We have the privilege and honor to welcome our dear senior God brother, His Grace, Sri Ganga Prasad Prabhu, who will be speaking to us from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhu, you're welcome to Hare Krishna Africa platform once again. Yeah, your speaker is off.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, so you're welcome. So, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, I will be the anchor for this
Where is
service.
Emeritus?
The Emeritus is engaged in some other extraordinary service.
All right.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So I'll put the verse on the screen and then we can take it off from there.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Om Gyantimirandasya Janang Jana Salakaya Chakshuro Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Nanobistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Sayang Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Simati Radhanath Swami Iti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Simati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Vacharine Nivise Sunyavadi Pashatya Idesatarine Shri Chaitanya Nanobistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Syam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhambitam Sya E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namasute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishobhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanambeyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadada Shiva Sadi Sigora Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna and welcome to everyone present now on the platform. I prostrate at your lotus feet and beg for your blessings, that I may be able to do this seva with due diligence for my purification and also for the benefit of the audience. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We are taking our reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, chapter 15, text number 48. Description of the kingdom of God. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Natyantika Viganayantyapi te prasadam. Kevanyadapita Bayam Bruva Unayaste. Yangatan Angrisara Bhavata Kataya Kita Nyatita Yasa Sa Kusalarasana Natyantikan Viganayantyapite Prasadam Kimvanyadapita Bayam Bruva Unayaste Yangatwadangrisarana Bhavata Kataya Kita Nyatitaya Sasa Kusalarasanya Natyantikam Vignanyantyapite Prasadam Kivanyat Apita Bayam Bhuvanyaste Yanga Twangrisarana Bhavata Kataya Kitanya Titaya Sasa Kusalarasana. Synonym: now, not. Antyatikam, liberation. Viganayanti, careful. Happy, even. Te, those. Prasadam, benedictions. Him, what to speak. Anyat, other material happiness. Apita, given. Bayam, fearlessness. Ruvaha, of the eyebrows. And unayai, by the reason. Te, your, ye, those devotees. Anga, O Supreme Personality of God. Twat, your, angry, lotus feet. Sarana, who have taken shelter. Bhavata, your, kataya, narration. Kitayam, what chanting. Tita, pure. Yasa, saha, glories. Kusala, very expert. Rasagna, knowers of the mellows or humors. Translation and explanation by His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagaguru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ho. Persons who are very expert and most intelligent in understanding things as they are engage in hearing narrations of the auspicious activities and pastimes of the Lord, which are worth chanting and worth hearing. Such persons do not care even for the highest material benediction, namely liberation, to say nothing of other less important benediction like material happiness of heavenly kingdom. Offered by Srila Prabhupada. Scroll up. The transcendental bliss enjoyed by the devotees of the Lord is completely different from the material happiness enjoyed by less intelligent persons. The less intelligent persons in the material world are engaged by the 4 principles of benediction called Dharma, Artha, Karma, and Moksha. Generally, they prefer to take to religious life to achieve some material benediction, the purpose of which is to satisfy the senses. When by that process they become confused or frustrated in fulfilling the maximum amount of sense enjoyment, they try to become one with the Supreme, which is, according to their conception, mukti, or liberation. There are 5 kinds of liberation, the least important of which is sayuja, to become one with the Supreme. Devotees don't care for such liberation because they are actually intelligent, nor are they inclined to accept any of other 4 kinds of liberation, namely, to live on the same planet as the Lord, to live with him side by side as an associate, to have the same opulence, to attain the same bodily future. They are concerned only with glorifying the Supreme Lord and his auspicious activities. Pure devotional service is Shravanam Kirtanam. Pure devotees who take transcendental pleasure in hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord do not care for any kind of liberation, even if they are offered the fine liberation. They refuse to accept them, as stated in the Bhagavatam, in the 3rd canto. Materialistic persons aspire for the sense enjoyment of heavenly pleasure in the heavenly kingdom. But devotees reject such material pleasure at once. The devotee does not even care for the post of Indra. A devotee knows that any pleasurable material position is subject to be annihilated at a certain point. Even if one reaches the post of Indra, Chandra, any other demigod, he must be dissolved at a certain stage. A devotee is never interested in such temporary pleasure. From Vedic scriptures, it is understood that sometimes even Brahma and Indra fall down, but a devotee in the transcendental abode of the Lord never falls. This transcendental stage of life, in which one feels transcendental pleasure in hearing the Lord's pastime, is also recommended by Lord Chaitanya. When Lord Chaitanya was talking with Ramananda Rai, there were varieties of suggestions offered by Ramananda Rai regarding spiritual realization. But Lord Chaitanya rejected all but one, that one should hear the glories of the Lord in association with pure devotees. That is acceptable for everyone, especially in this age. One should engage himself in hearing from pure devotees about the activities of the Lord. That is considered the supreme benediction for mankind. Mukankaroti vachalam, pangam langayate girim, ya kripato mahamande, chi guru dinatarinam, ya kripato mahamande, Paramananda Madhava, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Ishvara. Hare Krishna. So the text we are dealing with is very, very beneficial, and it is focused on the three essential aspects of our philosophy. Sambandha Gyan, Abhideya, and Prayogyana. Abhideya and Sambandha, knowledge of things as they are. We can see in the purport Prabhupada mentioned those devotees who are very expert and most intelligent in understanding things as they are. That is Sambandha. Devotees with Sambandha Gyan, they want to know things as they are. And there's no higher thing to know than to know God. Aham Savasya Prabhavo. That is Bhagavad Gita chapter 10, text number 8. Krishna mentioned that's Sambandha. In Abhideya, he said, Machita Magata Pranam Budayanta Parasparam Katayanta Semam Nitya Tusyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlivening one another and discussing about me. When this is comprehended and done, then the mercy of Krishna comes through, which is prayojana. The reward for doing devotional service comes through. So the text you are reading is an identification by the four Kumaras that they have gotten the benediction of the Lord by seeing him. Okay? And they were not glorifying those devotees who don't want any other thing except to talk about the wonderful activities of the Supreme Personality of God. So in the text we are reading here, there is definition of two kinds of personalities, two types of people. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th canto, chapter 5, text number 10 and 11, it speaks about this kind of people, and they are referred to crows and swans. Crows and swans are not birds of the same feather because of their different mental attitude. So you can also see here that they are personalities of different mental attitude. So the crows are referred to the 50 workers or passionate men are compared to the crows, whereas the all perfect saintly persons are compared to swans. The crows take pleasure in a place where garbage is thrown out. This is the purport of 1, 5, 10. Just as the passionate fruity workers take pleasure in wine, women, and place of gross sense pleasure, the swans do not take pleasure in the place where garbage is thrown out. Just as the passionate fruity worker take pleasure in wine, women, and place for gross sense pleasure, the swans do not take pleasure in that place where crows are assembled for conference and meetings. This is a very good one. So crows, they do their conference and meetings where garbage is thrown out. They are instead seen in the atmosphere of natural, scenic beauty, where there are transparent reservoirs of water, nicely decorated with stems of lotus flowers, in variegated colors of natural beauty. That is the difference between the two classes of birds. So you can see that the purport we are reading also describe two classes of men. Transcendental bliss enjoyed by the devotees of the Lord is completely different from the material happiness enjoyed by the less intelligent persons. See, there's categorization, there's classification, and then their mental attitude and disposition is also identified. The less intelligent person in the material world are engaged in the four principles of benediction called Purusha Artha. Purusha Artha comprise Dharma, religiosity; Artha, material opulence; Karma, sense regulatory, sense gratification; and moksha, liberation. Purusha Artha. Generally, they prefer to take to religious life to achieve some material benediction. Okay? And the material benediction range from enjoying here and then at the maximum go to higher heavenly planets. But in Bhagavad Gita is mentioned Abrahma Bhuvana Loke Punavati no Arjuna. Mamu Petya Punanjama Punanjamana Vidyate. From the highest planetary system of Lord Brahma to the lowest, they are all places of misery where repeated birth and death take place. So it's only people who are crow-like that take pleasure in this kind of religious practice. Generally, they prefer to take to religious life to achieve some material benediction, the purpose of which is to satisfy the senses. When by that process they become confused or frustrated, which is ultimately going to happen. That is how material life is designed. In fulfilling maximum of sense gratification, they try to become one with the Supreme Lord. They now start to look for mukti, liberation. And mukti is referred in 5 categories. Mukti, liberation. The 5 kinds of liberation at least import is which is at least important, which is called sahaja. There are 5 kinds of liberation. Although when we speak in Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, the knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is in 3 phases: the impersonal Brahmajyoti realization, the Paramatma realization, and the Bhagwan realization. So those who opt for Brahmajyoti realization are people who are already materially exhausted, but still within material purview want to merge in the form of the Supreme Personality of God. So the 5 types of liberation, mukti, are mentioned as sayuja. Prabhupada said the least is sayuja. And sayuja means merging into the existence of the Supreme. Other 4 are salokya, reside in the same planet as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Samipya, associate, personal association with the Personality of Godhead. Sarupya, having same bodily form. And Sasti, possesses equal opulence as the Personality of Godhead. These are the 5 different liberation aspired. But Prabhupada continue in the purport by saying they are concerned only with glorifying the Supreme Lord and his auspicious activities. That is those who are devotees. Pure devotional service is Shravanam Kirtanam, which is also mentioned that Mahaprabhu recommends. Real goal of life is to hear and chant about God. Pure devotees who are transcendental, who take transcendental pleasure in hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, do not care for any kind of liberation. This is also where distinction is made between crows and swans. Even if they are offered the 5 liberation, they refuse to accept them, as stated in the Bhagavatam, 3rd canto. In the Damodara Astaka, the 4th stanza translation says, "O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of liberation, I do not pray to you for the boon of impersonal liberation, which is Sayuja, nor the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon which may be obtained by executing the 9 processes of bhakti. O Lord, I simply wish that this sum of yours as Bala Gopal in Vrindavan may ever be manifest in my heart, for what is the use to me of any other boon besides this?" So he said, even if they are offered, devotee reject it. But people who are sensual, materialistic, they go for it. The 3rd canto, materialistic person aspire for the sense enjoyment of heavenly pleasures in the heavenly kingdom, but devotee reject such material pleasure at once. The devotees do not even care for the post of Indra. The devotee knows that any pleasurable material position is subject to annihilation at certain points. Puna Jamana Vidyate. There's repeated birth and death. So they have a beginning, they have an end. A devotee is never interested in such temporary pleasure. From Vedic scripture, it is understood that sometime, even Lord Brahma and Indra, they fall down. But even in the transcendental, but a devotee in the transcendental abode of the Lord never falls down. That is why Krishna said, Jama kamacha medivyam evanyo vetita tota tyaktua de hampuna jama neti maam. Never. They will never come to this world of repeated birth and death again. This transcendental stage of life in which one feels transcendental pleasure by hearing the lost pastimes, which is Abideya, like we mentioned earlier, and is in the pre-seed of the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Hearing the thought of my devotees dwell in me, their lives are fully devoted to my service. They derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlivening one another and conversing about me. There is no other thing devotees have. And it is mentioned in the Skanda Purana that Lord Shiva was asked once by his wife, Parvati, he said, all these skulls that you are wearing on your neck, who do they belong to? Where did you acquire them from? And Shiva told Parvati that all these skulls that is on my neck is your skull only. So Parvati is now telling him, how come I have died many times and you have all my skulls as your gallant, but you don't die? What is the secret? Why is it that you are not dying? Not dying means you are immortal. So Shiva now told him that is very absorbed in Srimad Bhagavatam. Once Parvati, the wife of Lord Shiva, inquired from her husband about the garland of skull which adorned his neck. She wanted to know from whose head the skulls belonged. Lord Shiva replied that these were her Parvati head. Surprised and curious, she asked, how was that? Lord Shiva told her that because he loved her so much, each time she left her body, he took her head and put the skull on the garland around his neck. Satisfied, Parvati then told Lord Shiva, that is, it seems he had many lifetimes, but he had not. Lord Shiva said that was correct. She then inquired how he remained immortal. Lord Shiva replied that he is immortal because he is always absorbed in the nectarian narration of Srimad Bhagavatam. Desiring to also attain immortality, Parvati asked Lord Shiva to narrate Srimad Bhagavatam to her. He agreed under the condition that they select a private location. There will be no other living entity present, and the Parvati must be very attentive and not fall asleep. Lord Shiva said the only way he could know she is listening was if she made a hum sound. Because the moment Lord Shiva starts speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, he enters Samadhi and is unaware of externals. A place was selected under a big mango tree at a place known as Ekam Ravan, the present day Bhubaneswar in Orissa. Lord Shiva started speaking while Parvati was responding, hum, hum. Meanwhile, Lord Shiva entered Samadhi as a result of speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, but kept notice of the sound being vibrated by Parvati. After a while, Parvati fell asleep, but the humming sound was still being vibrated. After some time, Lord Shiva opened his eyes and discovered that his wife was asleep, but he was still hearing the humming sound, noticing the violation of the condition that no other. Lord Shiva became angry. Lord Shiva became angry and searched for the violator. He then looked on the branch of the tree and saw a parrot, which was making the humming sound. Lord Shiva took his trident, designed to kill the parrot. The parrot began to fly away while Lord Shiva chased after him. The parrot entered the ashram of Srila Vyasadeva. At that time, Srila Vyasadeva was engaged in reciting Srimad Bhagavatam to his wife. Her mouth was wide open as she listened to Srimad Bhagavatam. The parrot or Sukam immediately entered the wide open mouth of the wife of Srila Vyasadeva and took shelter from her womb. Lord Shiva entered the ashram and inquired for the sage, from the sage about the whereabouts of the parrot, which he desired to kill. After hearing the cause of Lord Shiva's anger, Srila Vyasadeva calmed him by telling him that he could not kill the parrot because it had attained immortality by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, which was the desire of Parvati. Directly from his mouth, Lord Shiva became satisfied and went back to his abode. So this is why devotees are hearing Bhagavatam. Okay? The demigods and the demons, they enter the truth that they want immortality. But because of their mental state, demons and demigods, they are not transcendentalists. Demigods are suras, but they are material. So they could not think that there's something higher than longevity in material life. So they enter truth to churn the ocean to get elixir of immortality, which was provided for them. But before they got that, they got hala poison. Instead of immortality, they got death in the form of poison. So they were worried. What are we going to do now? We want eternal life, but we are getting death. But just like they were cancelled before the truth, they said they should go meet Lord Shiva. And if you read in our scripture, if you are drowning or if you are tied, you cannot untie yourself. A drowning person cannot save himself. It takes somebody who is not drowning to be able to save him. And it also takes somebody who is not tied to untie him. So Lord Shiva is immortal. So he's not going to be affected by death. So they approached Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva offered to get rid of the poison. He compressed all the ocean of poison in his two palms and drank it. But the wife Parvati was quick to get hold of the base of his neck so that it doesn't cross into his system. And the poison turned the neck of Lord Shiva into blue color. That's why Shiva is called Nilkanta, the one who possesses blue neck. The poison turned it. Then the demigods continued with the demons to churn until finally Dhanvantari came with the pot of the elixir of immortality. And the demons were smart. They outsmart the demigods. And they grabbed the pot for elixir of immortality. And what happened? The same personality of Godhead came again as Mohini Muti to bewilder the demons, to collect the elixir of immortality and give it to the demigods first. The smart demons, Rahu and Ketu, they disguise and enter the queue where the demigods are. They tasted or they have testing the mic of the elixir of immortality. But before they know it, their head was chopped off by Mohini Muti. So this is where we come to understand everybody wants eternal life. Everybody wants immortality. Hiranyakashipu also wanted the same thing. And this is the beginning of this whole lila is Jam Vijay. So at the climax of the pastime, they came as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyaksha wanted immortality. They performed yagya with Hiranyak. And then Hiranyakashipu performed austerity for thousands of years. That his external body was eaten by termites. But his bone, he maintained his life within the bones. And the heat emitting from his head was such that the demigods were worried. And they ran to Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma came with his kumandalu. He poured water to minimize the heat. And then Hiranyakashipu was discovered. And he asked him, what is it you want that you have performed this kind of Herculean task? And he said, I want immortality. Look at that. Immortality with torture. But immortality is available with ease. But it takes only those who Prabhupada described in this purport. In the purport, the beginning of the purport, the transcendental bliss enjoyed by the devotees of the Lord is completely different from the material happiness enjoyed by the less intelligent person. See that? Less intelligent, Herculean austerity, and he wants immortality. But Lord Brahma said, I am not immortal myself, so I cannot offer you what I don't have. And that concerns the fact that you can only give what you have. You can't give what you don't have. So he, in his cocky intelligence, presented supplication to Lord Brahma. I should not be killed by any human being, nor demigods, not by any human-made weapon, not inside or outside, not in the daytime or in the night, not up, not down. All conditions that he mentioned, Lord Brahma approved of it, because he approved of his austerity. So, but this also confirms the fact that even the gifts that demigods give you, they're also temporary, because the demigods are temporary. When it was time for Hiranyakashipu to kill Hiranyakashipu, when it was time for Nishingadev to kill Hiranyakashipu, he packaged all of those benedictions intact. He did not utter anyone, but he looked for the middle point. He went for the middle point, not in the daytime, not in the night, at twilight, not up, not down, on his thighs, not with any man-made weapon, with the fingernails, not inside, not outside, between the door frame, not inside the house, not outside the house. But ultimately, Hiranyakashipu died, because that was the agreement. The Lord will come and save him. So these subject matters, they are very, very complex, very intricate, but like Prabhupada started, only those who are most intelligent, they want to understand things as they are, they take to the process of hearing. They take to the process of hearing. Because it is easy process, it costs nothing. Every day we are hearing, every day we are talking. In Nectar of Instruction, he said, if we are given the chance to talk, we just go ranting. But the end of our discussion, or what we speak, will be exhaustion and bring death. And when we hear mundane things, what does it do? It conditions us more in the material world. So that is why he said in that text 10, that the transcendentalists, since the all perfect persons are inhabitants of the transcendental abode, they do not derive pleasure where crows gather for their meeting, where garbage is thrown. They don't. And so they cannot make a difference in the world order. But in the next text, Prabhupada is mentioning, quoting Narad Muni. On the other hand, that literature, which is full of description of the transcendental glories of the name, fame, form, pastime, etc., of the unlimited Supreme Lord, is a different creation. Different altogether, it's a different ball game. Full of transcendental words, directed toward bringing about a revolution in the impious life of this world, misdirected civilization, a revolution. So we are candidates of revolution. Our philosophy is philosophy of revolution. And that is why he confirmed the lobby of the world. Such transcendental literature, even though improperly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. They don't deceive themselves and they don't deceive others. They are thoroughly honest. They know what they want. Just like the swine. The swan, he can pick nectar from the water. He knows what he wants. It's not just the liquid or the body of the water. It's what he is after. The bee, he goes around all the pollen. But he's looking for nectar. But flies, where do they go to? They are looking for garbage. Crows, garbage. Vulture, garbage. So this reawakens in us. Now we have option. We have option. But as you make your bed, so you lie on it. And that's why Prabhupada gave us this Navavida Bhakti devotional process to regulate us so that we can be in this material world, but we'll also not be inside it. We'll be aloof. So the four Kumaras, they made it clear that people who want anything short of this, they are less intelligent. An example is given when Dhruvas left home because of stepmother insult. He felt, oh, it is because of wealth, opulent position, and this, that this stepmother slighted him, and the father could not come to his aid. Angered as a Kshatriya boy, he went to the mother, but the mother counseled him, don't pay evil for evil. And it should depend on God, that God is the only one who can mitigate our miserable situations. That's the wise counsel. And she benefited for giving this counsel, because airplane also came to carry her, even before Dhruva. So when Dhruva asked the mom, where is that God? The mom said, I don't know, but the sages of the day of yours say he's found in the forest. When Rukmini was talking to Krishna, in that exchange of Krishna and Rukmini, where Krishna teased Rukmini, and she made reference to that great sages, great kings, they left their kingdom to go to forest, only looking for Krishna. They come for shelter at the lotus of Krishna. So they forsake everything of this world to aspire to achieve that. And Dhruvas left home, went to the forest, not having any knowledge, no Sambandha, and no Abideya either, until he encountered Narad Muni, who told him, little boy, just like what the gatekeepers also told the four Kumaras that angered them. You little boys, go home and wear some pampers, my friends. So Narad Muni told the same thing to Dhruva. You are still very young at the pamper stage. What are you doing here in the forest? Are you not scared of wild animals? He told him he's looking for God. And he mentioned, you are too young. You are still too young for this. Go home. Be under the care of your parents. And the boy said, no going back. In this my body, the blood of a Kshatriya is flowing that does not tolerate insults. So no going back. He was very resolved, determined. And now Narad Muni saw his sincerity and his resolve. I now gave him Sambandha and gave him Abhideya. Abhideya was the chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sambandha was to give him a clear picture of what he was looking for, God. And Dhruvas complied. It performed austerity until he stopped breathing, but still reciting the Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And the Lord in the heart manifested out to him and asked him, what is it you are looking for, little one? The moment Dhruva behold the beauty of the Lord, everything material became distasteful to him. He could not say anything. He was dumbfounded. But then the Lord, to give him blessing, used his conch shell to touch his head and reawaken his sense of mind presence. Then he started glorifying God. Oh, seeing you, all what I desired, they are like broken pieces of bottle. I don't need them anymore. But the Lord in his magnanimity said, as you did not go back, also I'm not going to go back with giving you benediction. So he gave him benediction that when the father died, he will rule the father's kingdom. And at the end, he will now go to his eternal abode that is not perishable, which is the pole star, Dhruva Loka. It still exists till today. And all of that. So you can see the disposition of the intelligent ones. So Mahaprabhu, at the end of the purport of this text, Prabhupada quoted Mahaprabhu as saying that of all the propositions of Ramananda Rai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected all others, but he approved of one, that one should hear the glories of the Lord in association of pure devotees. That is acceptable for everyone, especially in the age of Kali. One should engage himself in hearing from pure devotees about activities of the Lord. This is very, very beneficial that we should know. Why do we have to hear about the glories of the Lord? Because it is the Lord's project. It is the Lord's project. Queen Kunti, when she was praying to Lord Krishna, when Krishna wanted to depart Hastinapur, she mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st Canto, chapter 8, text 32, 35, please. I said it is the Lord's project. On the others say that no, and yet others say that you appeared to rejuvenate the devotional service of hearing, remembering, worshiping, and so on, in order that the conditioned soul suffering from material pain might take advantage and gain liberation. What does that indicate? God came to enact unlimited pastimes, unlimited pastimes, so that when you start speaking, even Ananta Shesha with thousands of wood, since time immemorial, have been reciting these pastimes and is inexhaustible. So this is God's project to give us enough, and it is onus is on us to take advantage to benefit ourselves. So Bhagavatam says, Sumedha, Only the intelligent one, Sumedha, will take to this. Krishna Varna Twisa Krishna, Sangopanga Prasadam, Yagyai Sankirtan, the chanting and glorification of the name of the Lord. Yajanti hi Sumedha sa. Sumedha, those who are with very fine brain tissues, only they will patronize this. But whether they have fine brain tissue or they don't have fine brain tissue, qualified or unqualified, with Nityananda's mercy, everybody becomes a recipient. Nityananda was instructed by Chaitanya Prabhu, go and give this to everybody, irrespective of who is qualified and who is not qualified. And he took to that commission with due diligence. And he got hold of the most debauched dacoits of that time, Jagai and Madai. They are evidence of this. So the Lord enacted pastimes so that we can hear, we can share, and we can mortify ourselves in association. That's why he said, Sadhu Sangha, Sava Sastra Koi, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sava Siddhi Koi. All the scriptures glorify the association of devotees, because in the association of devotees, there are specifics. In the association of devotees, there are specifics. And what are the specifics? The Nava Vida Bhakti, Shravana Kirtana, proper mention, most important, hearing and chanting. It is the hearing and chanting that will give the perfection of remembering. And that is the immunization Krishna gave in Bhagavad Gita, 934 and 1865. Is the immunization vaccine. Always engage your mind in thinking about me. Will you think of what you did not hear, or will you think of what you did not see? Not possible. So Krishna prescribed this, Krishna enjoined this, and Krishna enacted this. Easy process. And you can see when Nityananda came, these were part of the tools of his preaching. He was enacting different scriptural pastimes as drama, plays, to the entertainment of the citizens. And they were amazed and asked him, where did you learn all of this, you small boy? And he looked at them and said, you don't know. These are my pastimes. These are my pastimes. And it's for a purpose. The purpose is to get everybody back home, back to God. So Queen Kunti mentioned that he came to reenact the principles of religion so that the conditioned souls from material pangs might take advantage and gain liberation. So it's not just that Krishna has nothing to do. He has a mission. He has a projection. Like in the Bible, he says, I know the thought I have for you. Thought of good, not evil, bringing to an expected end. There's an expected end. So let us all take advantage. This is just re-echoing what we are supposed to be doing, Abhideya. And that definitely will attract Prayogjana, the mercy of Lord Krishna. Nobody can know God without God giving him mercy. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur mentioned, do not try to see God, but act in such a way that God will see you. If God sees you, then you become a recipient of his mercy. So the text we are reading today emphasizes the fact that it takes intelligence. And Krishna says, Dadami Buddhi. I give the intelligence with which they can come to me. So, but that is why if we have lived well in the association of devotees, Trimachita Magata Pranam, Budayanta Parasparam, Katayanta Shamam Nitya, Tusyanticha, Ramanticha. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Is there contributions of some realizations or some questions? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Tantara Srimad Bhagavatam class Ki Jai. Thank you very much, Ms. Grace Kange Prashad Prabhu, for the beautiful rendition of this particular verse, which is said that the realization of a devotee is seen in how he expresses his presentation on any verse of the scriptures. And this same verse, someone else will speak on it, and they will go into the different directions. And the narrations, the pastimes that you shared are very instructive. Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. Hare Krishna. So, dear devotees, if there are questions, comments, Govinda Prabhu is clapping. That is to show that he's very pleased and happy with the what he has had today. So it confirms what I was just saying. Anadi Nidanam Prabhu, please kindly unmute. Yeah, thank you. Murari also Prabhu was
Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu, please kindly accept my humble obeisances. And all glory to the assembly.
Accepted, and I reciprocate.
Thank you for your Nectarian cooking today as well. So, Prabhu, the purpose of Dhruva Maharaj austerity is to get a kingdom that is greater than that of his grandfather. But finally, when
that of his father, his father, not his grandfather, his father.
Oh, okay, yeah. But when finally he glanced the Lord, he said, no, I'm okay with whatever. So in our devotional setup, do we have to see each and every one as a devotee? Or perhaps we have to see each and every devotee from his character or attitude and say, oh, there are this kind of 4 kinds of people who approach Krishna. For that matter, gradually he will achieve the higher goal. So when that is the case, how do you think we can treat such a devotee that he can still stay in the movement and not leaving the movement? I don't know if my question is clear.
Yeah, your question is clear. It's a very thoughtful question. It's a question of somebody who has jivadoya, compassion for the devotees. And your question is everybody a devotee or some are not devotees, since 4 kinds of people come to Krishna? When Sanatana Goswami was taking tutelage from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he asked him, cure me. Who am I? People call me the Rupa Goswami, people call me this, people call me this, people call me this, but I don't know who I am. Who am I? And that is the identity of everybody. Mahaprabhu's answer is Jivara Swarup Ahoy, Krishna Nitya Das. We are all, not some, all eternal servants of Krishna. So we're all devotees of Krishna. But the irony is our present situation is a state of conditioning. And we are differently conditioned according to the 3 modes of material nature. Prakriti, Kriya Manani, Guna Kamani Savasaha, Ahankara Vimodatma Kataham, Itimanyati. The bewildered, conditioned, living entity thinks himself the doer. So devotional management is like swimming against the current. It's a Herculean task. Because sometimes we oversight this conclusion that we are all devotees. And sometimes we become too complacent of this same fact. We're all devotees, but we are all devotees does not mean we're all going to do devotional service in the same condominium. Some people can be devotees and practice very well from a distance. And some people can be very far off from the core. But it takes expert realization to know where and how to engage each person. But everybody has to be engaged. Prabhupada said it costs 7 pints of blood to make one devotee. That 7 pints of blood is what it takes to form one drop of your semen that will produce a child. So if you cannot give up on your child from the 7 pints of blood that form a semen, you can also give up. You cannot also give up on a devotee. So it requires that you are also looking for mercy as the devotee is looking for mercy. And when a devotee was asked, what qualifies one to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? This is the real answer to your question. Jiva Doyal, you must have compassion for every living entity. Namruchi, you must have taste for chanting to be able to cleanse yourself or your own anatas also. Because seeing people as not devotees is also an anatta. Everybody is a devotee. Yudhishthira and Duryodhana were sent out, want to look for the most sincere person, and the other one to look for most sinful. Duryodhana came and said, he has not seen anybody. But Yudhishthira came to say he's the only person who is sinful. Everybody is okay. That is a very high status. For us to see that somebody is less is a fault. So we must have Namruchi. Because it's Namruchi, Cheto Dapanama Janam, Baba Mahadavagni Vapanam, Sriya Kaira Chandrika Vitaranam, Vidyavadu Jivanam, Anandam Buddhivadanam, Pratipadam, Punamrita Swadanam, Abatmasna Param Vijayate, Sri Krishna Sankita. So everybody can participate, but we also have to cleanse ourselves. It is recommended. We cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years. Okay, and the last one is Vaishnava Seva. These three will make one achieve the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. And the mercy of Lord Chaitanya goes to the point that qualified or not qualified, they should assess it. So it's our expertise that some people can be practicing from the home and come to temple. Although in West Africa, I have not seen this degree of practice. I visited India sometimes, and I see that people are fired up from their houses. They don't want to come and live in the ashram. But 4:30 a.m., although security system, transport system, everything makes it easy. You can afford to call a cab, take a rickshaw, and come to the temple from wherever you are living within Mumbai to the temple that is close to your proximity. In Mayapur, the same thing. Mayapur, many of us stay outside of the ashram, but in the morning before Mangalati, you need to see the brisk walking. People are walking fast to catch up with Mangalati. They don't stay in the ashram. You know, so it is the understanding after purified consciousness that we'll be able to know everybody deserves to have Krishna consciousness. But the intensity may not be same because some of us are already, yes, devotees, but material nature have beaten us to coma. Some of us are in sleepy state, and some of us are in active state, but everybody is a devotee. So I don't know if that gives answer or lead way to your question.
Yes, Robo, it does. Yes, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anadi Nidanam Prabhu, for that beautiful question. I have a question, something similar to Anadi Nidanam Prabhu's question. In the purport of the first, we're reading to the Srila Prabhupada, and then you started the class by I'm referencing the verse in this first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam describing the crows and the swans. Prabhupada elaboratedly explained in the purport about those who are devotees. First, those who are devotees are like this, and then those who are materialistic are like this. And when we look at the description of those characters and we look at our devotional community, we want to ask a question: who is a devotee? And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Madhya Lila was asked the same question. We have a narration where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asked that same question, but at different time he was given different answers.
Different answers, yeah.
Different answers at different times. Please,
Yes.
could you elaborate on this in relation to the topic we're discussing? Because actually these verses are talking from the background of the four Kumaras who are already liberated. They are great Mahatmas. And we are on the path of Bhakti. So how do we know? How do we relate to these two categories in our present context?
Our institutional commission, according to Mahaprabhu, commission, Yaredeka, Tarekaha, Krishna Upadesh. In Mahaprabhu's time, there were no ashrams. Nobody was living in the ashram. So we have a modern day challenge of managing ashrams. We also have modern day challenge of economic incapacitations. But Prabhupada came and gave us a leadway, which was also like a test run. But we are seeing that it's not functional all the time. In 2000, Srila Krishna Prabhupada came and was emphasizing the fact that everybody now wants economic independence. People want to make their money, manage their money, and be economically relevant and still do Krishna consciousness. But the life of living in ashram is a life of renunciation. Amanina mana, nirmama, nothing belongs to me. But everybody wants to claim ownership of something. So the four Kumaras, yes, they were munis, but they were not devotees. Jaya and Vijaya are devotees. They may have been devotees who are in liberated stage, but then they know the heart of the Lord. They do the bidding of the desire of the Lord. It takes only a devotee, like when you are describing, there are four categories of devotees. First class, second class, third class, and whimsical fourth class. First class, he knows the heart of the Guru or the Lord without being told. He knows it. Jaya and Vijay were like that. So yeah, the four Kumaras, they came to the heavenly plan, they passed 6 gates, and then they came to the 7th gate. Yes, in their own deduction, which they expressed later, oh, they made a mistake by causing the devotees of the Lord, and they thought the Lord would take it on them. Actually, these are called Kanista Adhikaris, neophyte devotees. They venerate the Lord, but they don't know how to behave with the devotees. Jaya and Vijay, they did nothing wrong, but it's the perception of the four Kumaras. They did nothing wrong. They were doing their duty dutifully. And they were trying to work out the desire of the Lord who wants to come to the material world. They made themselves available. So the 4 categories of devotees are those who they know the heart of the Lord. They will not do anything outside that. The second class devotee, you have to tell them before they will know. The third class devotee, you tell them, they will do it differently. If you say you want water, they will give you juice. If you say you want juice, they give you water. And then the fourth class devotee, Bhakti Radhamodava said, this one should be rejected. They are not ready to follow anything. They don't know, you tell them, they don't do, and then they choose not to follow anything. They are bodrations. But then the compassion of a devotee is paradukaduki. He knows that they are suffering, but they may not know that they are suffering. It's like when Indra was cursed to take the body of a hog, and they came back to call him, oh, your tenure as a hog is expired. You should come back. He said, no, I want to continue my pig life. So there are categories like that. So, but then your question is in the ashram. I remember one time I gave class, and I appreciate the contribution of Shriman Varaha Acharya. He made a very clear-cut distinction because there's a mix-up actually. There's a difference between mandir and ashram. Mandir is the kakus where the deities are installed and deity service is going on 24/7. Nobody lives there. Ashram is where people come, they want to practice renunciation, they want to practice self-denial and austerity, and then they are allowed to stay to the degree that they conform. Otherwise, they are pleaded with, please, you can do that from your own home. But what we are doing now, especially in our present environment, we are having shortage of manpower. So at the slightest of opportunity of anybody, oh, come and stay. And then we start managing crisis and managing damage control. So it is good that we have clear-cut definition of how things should be, which is what the translation say. Persons who are very expert and most intelligent in understanding things as they are. Things as they are. Why should anybody be living in the ashram and he doesn't attend hearing classes? He doesn't attend japa. He doesn't do karma yoga. That is rasa bas. So we have to take example of what the circumstance we are facing is and what the scripture and the mood and mission of Prabhupada gave us and be able to deal with our circumstance. We are doing a lot of mix-up and we are having a lot of challenges. Some people will be better devotees if they have their work, they earn their money, they bring something for the temple, and then they can practice spiritual life from the home. That's what Prabhupada said. Let every home become a temple. It's not a mode that everybody mug up and, compress in the ashrams. So this is the much I can put in from my understanding of your question.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for the beautiful answer to this question. Actually, if there are devotees who have anyone ask a question or comment, please kindly do not hesitate to raise your hand directly or using the an emoji, and then we'll give the mic to you. While we're waiting for that, since there are no hands up yet, okay, Govinda Prabhu has a, let's hear Govinda Prabhu, then I will come back with the follow-up on that question, because you actually raised a very interesting point while trying to answer that question, and which actually touches the conclusion of this purport given to this Prabhupada. But then, Govinda Prabhu, please kindly go ahead. And then we have so many hands. You can see now what I was saying. Your answer has actually ignited so many questions in the heart of the devotees.
I hope I have not committed apparat.
Yeah, Govinda Prabhu, the mic is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhu, my respectful obeisances to you, and my obeisances to the devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga Kijai. Thank you very much, as always, Prabhu. Your lectures are always very, very inspiring, very deep, and easily digestible. So thank you so much. My question is about, when the demigods and the demons, after churning the nectar from, is it Boo Mandela? And they are to distribute this nectar. They are to share this nectar among themselves, nectar of immortality. And at a point, Mohini Moti will have to come herself to distribute the nectar. And knowing the mindset of the demons, she tried to deprive them from taking that nectar of immortality. And so at a point, she was giving the nectar to only the demigods and give fake nectar to the demons. So Rahu was very fast. So he realized that the demons are being cheated. And so he has to transform himself to the form of a demigod and sat in the midst of the demigods, ready to take the nectar. And he actually get the nectar to this part of his body. And so he was detected and informed Mohini Moti, and so therefore Rahu's head was chopped off. Now my question is that devotional service is the embodiment of everything, especially this our movement. Everything can be found here in this movement, spiritually, materially, on a medical level, whatever one is looking for is here in the Vedas. And so we're talking about the four kinds of people that surrender to Krishna. Some of these people may come and pretend to be like devotees and sit and stay among the devotees and try to learn, just like the demons try to churn the nectar, try to drink the nectar of immortality. So some of these people come, live among devotees, learn from the devotees, and then they go out and try to cheat the public. So when Mohini Moti saw the intentions of the demons, she tried to deprive them from taking the nectar. So now, if we see, even though we are not qualified, we are not perfect, but externally we can judge. If someone is staying with you and is smoking marijuana, no one should tell you he's smoking marijuana. You can see physically. So we are dealing on the physical level. We know naturally everyone is a devotee, even an ant, trees, fishes, everyone is a devotee. But not everyone is allowed to go to temple room. Like a dog is not allowed to go to temple room, even though he's a devotee. How do we deal with this situation? If we realize that this person is not actually for devotional service, but is for something else, what do we do? Do we allow him to stay because we don't have to see the difference? Everyone is a devotee. What do we do?
Very good. Very good. Thank you very much. Nice question, probing question also. The fact is imprudent management of devotee. We don't discourage anybody because whatever they do, they will reap. Those who want to cheat, nobody can cheat more than Putana. Nobody can cheat more than Putana. But Krishna sucked poison and life air out of her. But what we do is distance. One devotee gave a class recently. We don't have to allow people who are abusers, opportunists to destroy the movement. We cannot deny them access to Krishna. It's like if you are doing Harinam in the street and people come around, do you select people who are your audience? Everybody is welcome. That is the level at which those people can, from a distance. Okay, if you bring them into core membership, they will malign your reputation. Well, he said a guru is known when his disciples are sane. Especially when we do this paraphernalia preaching. We lost many devotees to it, but because of economic reasons. Many came, they learned paraphernalia, Sankirtan, and then they left. They could not stay. On their own, they will be pushed out. But we should be careful that we define what our atmosphere should look like. What are we supposed to be doing? And our activities are defined. Activities are defined. Well, here, Prabhupada said, Mahaprabhu approves, hearing and chanting. It's defined. So if people are not ready for that, they are wanting economic situation. People can also make economic front in devotional service. This good example is there. When I was in Mumbai, which has translated into a state-of-the-art hospital in Mumbai, Bhaktivedanta Hospital. The medical doctors who graduated then, they wanted to renounce and live in the temple to learn devotional service. But Bhaktipat preached to them, use your profession to preach Krishna consciousness. So when they come to temple, they are not coming that they want to become ashram devotees. They come to learn. They come to stimulate their sadhana, but they go to their homes. They have jobs. They come to temple. They do backup services in the altar. Even there was one lady who was an air hostess. She comes to temple when she is not on flight. She attends to the deities at noon and goes back to work. Okay? They don't live in the ashram. And they were making progress. And these devotees who are medical doctors, they were holding different medical camps from villages to villages. When we are celebrating Janmashtami in Mumbai, they are in some village doing free medical camp, food for life, like this. Today, all that effort paid off that we have a state-of-the-art hospital in Mumbai called Bhaktivedanta Hospital. And most of those devotees are still there, are medical practitioners. You see, so our material profession qualification can be useful in preaching Krishna consciousness, but sincerity is what is required. When people are insincere, you cannot help them beyond the much you can give them. Just let them from a distance do. Okay, this is what I can say. And we should also fall victim of the present situation. Oh, they are not devotees, so anybody can come. You're only applying for damage control. No? Today I posted something. It is, you should learn, like Prabhupada said, we should learn to have knowledge of little of everything. Have knowledge of little of everything. So when you are left alone, you can involve in many activities. Okay? So when we learn only one thing and we are left alone, that is when we start getting pressure. Oh, I need somebody to do. I need somebody to do this. Have knowledge of everything in little bits, and they'll be handy. So we should not be scared that we're alone for now. It is Krishna who flooded the place with devotees in his own time. Devotees will fool everywhere. Just like Srila Krishna said, this movement in West Africa will flourish. He didn't say now. In the future, it will flourish. But the irony is, will you be there? Will you be there? Taking our circumstances, economic patronage, and all of this, we think there's no more hope in the ray of hope in the horizon. But we just had a festival in Warri. The temple in Warri is like a replica of Midye temple, but it is more tush than Midye. Self-contained temple, 20 ashrams with temple in the center. Unbelievable. And with the economic stringent situation in Nigeria now, nobody can imagine that such a thing will happen. So in Krishna's own time, things will come, but we should not compromise. Prabhupada said, my Guru Maharaj did not compromise. I'm not compromising, and my disciples in the future should not compromise. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for a beautiful answer. The only challenge I have is that the more you try to explain this, then you bring out more topics to be discussed. I just hope that we'll be able to finish here today. Thakura Murari Prabhu, please kindly unmute.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my obeisances. I'll go to Srila Prabhupada and the assembly devotees. So thank you, Prabhu, for the nice presentation. Yes, thanks for the presentation and for weaving various aspects into the discourse and reminding us that, look, everything eventually is in the hands of the Supreme Lord. So we just have to do our best with whatever we have and wherever we are. So thanks again for the presentation. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Thakura Murari Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, Prabhuji, this concerning topics are discussed, you are inspired to wanting to ask many questions. While answering Govinda Prabhu's question and the previous question you asked, answered, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentioned, in fact, he concluded the purport by talking about glorification of the holy name. So my question is that, and we're talking about devotees of different categories. My first question is that, if someone is endeavoring in Krishna consciousness and is sincerely chanting the holy name, and simultaneously is going through so many externally considered problems, material challenges, we could look at it from different angles. Someone could say it is as a result of previous karma. Another could say that it is the Lord's mercy to allow that person to advance. Some will even consider it to be maybe somebody is actually attacking that person with some African voodoo or whatever. So in the circumstances where someone is sincerely chanting, and we can see in the life of the person that is struggling to become a devotee, is endeavoring to chant, but simultaneously is having so many complicated issues in his life or her life. How do we identify what is the challenges? As in various circumstances I've explained. Because sometimes I could say, oh, he's suffering from his past karma. And someone could say, oh, it's Krishna's mercy on him. So how do we see the difference in circumstances like this?
Guru, Sadhu, Sastra. In Prabhupada's circumstance, he was given instruction that took him 44 years to execute, but he was doing in piecemeal. But his own approach and conclusion with it is, when I make money, I will do all what my guru said. And he set up a pharmaceutical business. Prabhupada was never an ashram devotee. Prabhupada was not an ashram devotee. But Prabhupada left ashram for us. When the devotees were clamoring for Prabhupada to join the ashram, his Guru Maharaj said no. That in the future, when it will be time, he will do all of these things alone. So Prabhupada was doing his business, but business was not going well. It became a mockery of his family. But one thing that one saint said about Prabhupada Prabhupada used to come daily to chant. Every day he chants intensely. And Prabhupada said in his prayer, I have faith in the holy name. But he was going through adversaries. The wife was a challenge at the time. His children's challenge was not mentioned anywhere, but they were also challenged. Then the business was the icing on the cake. Somehow, by Krishna's mercy, he came to realize, my Guru Maharaj said, if Krishna wants to show special mercy, he didn't say just mercy, special mercy, he gives it in 2 installments. The first, he will take away everything. And that everything means whatever you can classify as what the devotee is going through. So that you can have a rethink that is not by your own efforts. He said, not only will he take away everything, the last dose, it will incite your relatives and family against you. And you have nothing left with you. That time, you will turn to Krishna without any reservation. And I can tell you, Srila Krishna Prabhupada in Benin told me one day, I was coming from Ibadan to go to festival in Warri. I don't know why he said it, but today I accept it. He said, friends will fail you. Your education will fail you. Family will fail you. But Krishna will never fail you. So it is our own issue that will become judgmental or analytical. But what Prabhupada taught us is we should see the hand of Krishna in everything. Krishna knows the beginning. He knows the end from the beginning. He knows where to end. He knows how long it will last for. So we should just say it's Krishna's mercy. And in that Bhagavatam, I think in the 3rd canto, he said the devotees wait patiently. He's waiting patiently, knowing that ultimately Krishna will give his mercy. So whatever a devotee is going through is not a condemnation of the process. It is not also a condemnation of the practitioner. It is just that in the end, Krishna called the shots. And Ambarish Maharaj was attacked by the fierce demon by Dhruva's Muni. He folded his hand and he prayed, Krishna, this is a challenging situation. Marabi Rakabi, kill me or protect me. That's your own business. So whatever we are going through, we should just see that we have only one business. It's only when we are trying to play God that we derail. We are not in control of our circumstance. Sarva Karana Karana. Krishna is the cause of all causes. So whatever we are going through is a test of our faith and a test of our surrender. That in all circumstances, Krishna will protect me. In all circumstances. So if we now leave it and we start thinking something else, that is our own cup of tea. But we should see that Krishna has something to achieve. Many of the devotees you can see, they end up with very serious terminal diseases. Will you say it's their karma? Is a point to question. But then, it is a test of our faith, and it's because Krishna wants to expedite certain things in our life experience. So we should just depend on Krishna, take it. Krishna has his own plans, we just wait on him. We should not be judgmental. Don't judge any circumstance, because you don't know what Krishna wants. Prabhupada's wife sold his manuscripts. He was very upset, but he confronted her and said, you have to make a choice. So. And to his surprise, the wife chose tea instead of husband. If it's you and I, there will be dead body. You know, but Prabhupada just took his bag and walked out, knowing that Krishna has something to achieve. So,
thank you very much, Prabhuji. I'm still on the holy name. Don't see anyone, and I think maybe after this we might allow you to go. But then there are so many things that came up in this answer to Govinda Prabhu's question, but I just want to focus on the holy name. In the study of the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Shastakam, the very first Shastakam, Cheto Darpanam Majanam, Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, Sri Yakarava Chandrika Vicharanam, Ananda Buddhi Vardanam, Pradam. The Acharyas have divided 6 things that this one stanza does. That it cleanses the mirror of the heart. It extinguishes the blazing fire of material existence. It spreads the moonlight of benediction. It increases the ocean of bliss, properly translated as ocean of transcendental bliss. It gives a taste of nectar at every time it is chanted, and it purifies the entire world. Sarvatma Snapanam. So my question is that when you read our scriptures, the conclusion of everything, oftentimes Prabhupada will emphasize the chanting of the holy name. So my question is that, should we say, because in answering the last question, you said that Prabhupada took 44 years, and you referenced the Bhakti Tita Maharaj saying that West African Yatra will grow exponentially to the extent that we cannot imagine. But who will be there among us is the question. And when we look at our practice of devotion and service, I'm asking this question in line with Govinda Prabhu's question, where he says that sometimes, just like you gave in the class, the demons, they try to misguide, disguise themselves, and they came to take part of, they wanted to take the Amrita, the nectar. As we see that this holy name can give everything that it has described here, our present reality, especially for one who is considered to be senior or holding a position, how much do we tolerate? Because Mohini Rupa, the scenario, when we look at the story of that, Rahul's head was chopped off. To what degree should we tolerate? Because we could look at it from one angle and say that this is what the holy name do, and they will be patient, and they're hoping that one day there will be changes. The effect of this name will have this effect. But then on the other side, in sustaining the legacy, the mission of Srila Prabhupada, to what extent should one tolerate misguidedness?
Thank you very much, Prabhu. And, this is a senior question.
and to top my dear brother's beautiful question. He's asking, how long should we tolerate? And if we don't do anything about it, is there any reaction? Is there any consequential to those authorities in concern?
Very good. Thank you very much. I'll give you this example that we're all familiar with. There were a lot of crises and issues going on in New Vrindavan in the early 80s, late 70s, until about 1986. It was of grave concern, but out of veneration, many people were not talking about it. But it ultimately became government concern that the FBI invaded New Vrindavan, and they discovered many items of racketing, and arrests were made, computers were seized, and there was litigation of 11-count charge against the community leader. So Prabhu, please listen carefully. He said if there's consequence, there is consequence.
Okay.
There is consequence. So these activities were not directly conducted by Bhakti Path, but in the community, these activities were going on. And so when they arrested the head of the community. In our own situation also, there is a time that warrants that arrest should be made, prosecution should be made. Circumstance call for that, to keep a clean slate. Okay? But then we need to be more guided as to moderate it. We can passionately go to extreme. From our experience, we have seen it all. We have seen in our yatra that somebody was stealing, and then the reaction was kill the person. We have experienced this. So in New Vrindavan, all these things are going on. So what happened? GBC body. When the litigation from America came, the GBC met in 1987 and excommunicated some devotees. Incidentally, my that time temple president, Maniha Prabhu, was one of the teachers in Gurukul that were accused of child abuse. He was excommunicated by GBC. Srila Bhaktipada also was excommunicated. Gopal Maharaj was my GBC at that time, and I regularly have audience with him. So I asked him, that this looks draconian to excommunicate the Guru. So Bhakti Gopal Krishna Maharaj told me, Greg, don't worry yourself. We are doing this to save Prabhupada's mission. If we don't excommunicate Kirtanananda, we will lose New Vrindavan to the American government. So excommunicating him is like cataract operation. If in the end, he goes through the litigation and he comes back, we will reconcile this seeming difference with one Kalpata Rubias Shah and end the matter. But in the end, he was sentenced to 11 years imprisonment that ran concurrently. So yes, we have ample examples in our environment. The other day, Mukunda Prabhu in Ibadan. What is his name? Prabhu in Ibadan. Madhuvan Prabhu brought to the limelight here that somebody carried the deities in the temple and sold it. Kavichandra Maharaj said we cannot be good people all the time. We have to act. Such an act should be registered legally and prosecution take place so that we know, the society will know that we don't tolerate nonsense. But we have to be guided to what extent we chase it. So although Madhuvan Prabhu recovered the deities, but then there was no litigation against devotee, and chances are tomorrow he will do the same thing. So that is about consequences. There are consequences. The leader will have to take percentage of the consequences. But as far as the holy name is concerned, Prabhu, the same time, from this same incident, Bhaktipat came back to play that, yes, they excommunicated us from ISKCON, but can they stop us from chanting the holy name? Can they take our bead bags from us? No. I hope you are learning something from this. So the people who seemingly are duplicitous, they are cheating, they are all of this, yes, you have to take action. But then your action should not be to the extent that you deprive them of chanting, which you cannot do. You cannot deprive them of accessing the holy name, because the commission of Mahaprabhu is both those qualified and unqualified, they have access to the holy name. But then in structural management, we have to know when, how to separate the wheat from the chaff. We have to do that.
Thank you very much. Very beautiful answer. And just to wrap up this, I said that would be the last question, but I'm asking because it's an opportunity. I asked Kavchanda Maharaj a question similar to this when he was on the class last time. And one of the, before the last time rather, practically in West Africa today, we see that there are several devotees who have developed the mood of a voodooist, who are representing the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. And unfortunately, Babalawos practicing all kinds of local mysticisms, mystical preaching Kamakanda, using some of them uses advertise cowries, so many things in the name of mysticisms. And these people wear devotee garments. They represent themselves as devotee. Most unfortunately, some of them are in leadership positions in our yatra. And almost on a daily basis, you must have seen on our Krishna Africa platform 2-3 days ago, we have to take a step to shut down the WhatsApp platform because there was consistent. So in your view, as a leader within the yatra, and I'm very happy because I'm asking you this question on the background of the fact that I know that you are one of the leaders of the regional council leadership of this yatra. And that's why I asked Kavchanda Maharaj the same question. So how long should we tolerate people who are openly advertising all this kind of dominion, preaching something against the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, and they are holding positions in the movement? To what extent should we tolerate? That is the background of my question.
All right, thank you very much, Prabhu. Because our movement is a spiritual movement, we have to tread with caution. Okay? And I will answer you from two perspectives. One is from my work experience. I retired from work. If somebody is impersonating a company, what the company does is put up a disclaimer on the person. You know about that? Disclaimer. That is one.
Very good.
Corporate dealing. If somebody steals from the company or is accessing finance from customers not in the company's interest, you put up a disclaimer warning the customer that they do this at their own risk. That is one. From the social point of view and spiritual perspective, there are 3 C's. 3 C's. The first C is contacting. When King Vina was doing holiness things, the Brahmanas used this C. They contacted him. The second C, Narad Muni used it on King Nigra, conscientizing, contact, conscientize. And the last C is confront. 3 C's. So these devotees, the first thing, it is not all of them who are in any of our ashrams. Not all of them. So you can, to a very great extent, not say they're impersonating the institution. They're on their own. And if you say they dress like devotees, dhoti is a commonly acquired dress in India. Everybody, even those who are in the shop, they tie dhoti. The robe does not make the monk. So don't worry about that. But environment, your condominium, your ecology is what counts. If they are in the ashram, then you have to exit them from the ashram as a measure. They can do whatever they would do from outside to save the incorporated name of the institution, because they also may be acting under some incorporated name, right? An incorporated business name means you can sue and you can be sued. That is corporate affairs certification. All right? Now, for these devotees, we should send a body following the paradigm of the Brahmanas and Vina. Meet them, contact them, conscientize them, tell them of the weight of what they are doing. It should be an administrative machinery, either at the highest top from GBC level or from the National Council. Delegates are made from, due to logistics issues, they can meet them in their environment and discuss with them, tell them the consequence and how concerned the movement is. This was also done in the case of Bhakti-Pad. Okay? And then when it doesn't give a positive result, we disassociate. That is what they did to Bhakti-Pad, excommunicate him. That is disclaimer in the corporate world. This is my honest submission. Now, implementation depends on the environment. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I think I wouldn't push this further here because we're on a live YouTube.
Sarika Prabhu.
Yes.
Sarika Prabhu, I beg you. I beg you. Prabhu, this question goes to you directly. It's not personal attack or anything of that sort. I'm asking you this and get your honest response. And I'm asking you this respectfully. I do respect you 1,000,000 times. So it's not anything malice. You as an authority, I believe you've seen all what is going on, as Sarika Prabhu is asking. So what have you done personally to mitigate this kind of negativities going on in our society?
I like that question. And it's a very prudent question. It requires prudent answer also. I am not independent. The organogram of ISKCON does not make me the CEO. I have people above me. So what I have done in my little capacity is to bring these issues to light and get the input of my superiors and also prefer suggestions, what we can do. Like now, what I'm suggesting to you on this platform is what I'm also suggesting to my superiors. But I cannot act outside the jurisdiction of my superiors. I wait on them for certain action. So this is my humble position. Thank you for not attacking me. And thank you for accepting me as I am.
His co-founder is English Prabhu. Thank you very much, His Grace Prashad Prabhu. We thank you so much for being here. I'm very much happy. Yeah, Smavara Prabhu, you want to say something? Smavara Acharya Prabhu, you're muted. You wanted to say something, or was that a mistake? Hare Krishna.
Do you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes,
okay, now we are hearing you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, okay. First, my obeisance to Ganga Das Prabhu. I'm sorry I came late. And I just tried to see what is still going on. Because I have an august guest with me here, Mother Yashoda Mai. And since it's been 40 years, we've never seen each other. So whatever little time we had, we are just chatting. So I'm sorry, that's taking me away from the class. And what I met, but anyway, I love the honest responses from Ganga Prabhu. But I was just wondering, maybe, I'm sorry, because I came late for the class, so maybe the subject was not the same. Because Srivas Prabhu gave class about 2 days ago, and this issue has been the current issue. But I was expecting that it should have been the one answering these questions and not Ganga Prabhu. Like he rightly said, he has people who are superior to him in the region. So that was just what I was sharing with Mother Yasoda here, because we were both listening to the class. And you cut me off. So anyway, thank you very much for the advice. There's much more happening on the surface, much more going on this externally. Excuse me. There's much more going on under the surface. We're only seeing the iceberg. We're only seeing the tip of the iceberg. Many contributing factors to why things are happening this way. It is not the devotees that are doing these things that are actually like corporate, where they have been drawn into it, and they're getting the support and the backup of the people in authority. Otherwise, it could not have been going on like this, and it's become difficult to address. So I was just thinking that we should address the matter to those who are really concerned. And Sarika Prabhu did once here to Kavichandra Maharaj. And Kavichandra Maharaj gave an answer which is satisfactory to some extent, but what is he doing about it on the ground? That's another factor. So anyway, thank you all. I'm sorry that I have to interject. I didn't mean to speak directly, but because you called me, I just thought Krishna wanted me to say what is in my mind. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Shriman Varacharya Prabhu, and thank you very much, Ganga Prasad Prabhu, for your answers. Like you rightly said, let me use this opportunity to let devotees know. I've gotten so many private messages in the last couple of days. And I asked Ganga Prasad Prabhu because maybe some of you might not know, Ganga Prasad Prabhu is the vice chair, if I'm not mistaken, of the West African Regional Council leadership. And Srivas Vanachari Prabhu was here 2 days ago, but the mood of the class was completely different. And it did not give me the room to be able to ask that question directly, and the opportunity was not there. But let me inform devotees that these matters are not just being discussed on the Bhagavatam class. We're going on the ground as we're asking Ganga Prasad Prabhu, what is he doing? Just like Govinda Prabhu asking, what is he doing? We are also not just sitting down like this. I've been working around the clock to get attention of Srivas, Vanachari, and but they are all busy in Mayapur, GBC rounds of meetings. But what devotees should know is that we're not letting it slide, because it's a great concern for many devotees within the Yatra. And we'll make sure that with our humble approach, we'll try as much as possible to get all of the authorities. But Ganga Prasad Prabhu is one of the executives, and because he is, we are fortunate to have him on this class. So just like we posed the same question to Kavichandra Maharaj, we felt we should ask him also. And Srivas Prabhu will also have to speak to this in the public eventually, and all of those who are our senior godbrothers who are sitting on the executive platform. Well, devotees, thank you very much for listening to this class. We spent 2 hours of time here on this time today. Ganga Prasad Prabhu, if you have any last word to tell us or to give to us, or last instruction or guidance that you can give us before we call it a day.
Well, Mahaprabhu ended the purports, or Prabhupada approved of the purports in saying, in the end, that Ramananda Roy made a lot of proposals to Mahaprabhu, and he rejected all. Now, once you hear the glories of the Lord in a session of devotees, that is acceptable for everyone, especially in this age. Once you engage yourself in hearing from pure devotees about the activities of the Lord, that is considered the supreme benediction for mankind. And I call this the vaccine to be free from the virus of Kali Yuga. Hear, chant, hear, chant, hear, chant. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. It's a beautiful
Hare Krishna.
end it. Thank you very much. On this note, I will request all of the devotees to please kindly all let us, in our usual style, appreciate our speaker today, His Grace Ganga Prashad Prabhu. To please kindly unmute ourselves and chant a loud Hare Krishna Maha Mantra.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
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 Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Hare Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare,
Panchakarpata
Patanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo
Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha. His Grace Sriman Ganga Prashad Prabhu ki
Tila
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.
His confounder Acharya Prabhupada ki Jai. Santo
Jai.
Srimad Bhagavatam class ki Jai.
Jai.